What? No, that's not. What? Well, okay. Initial climb was to 3,000. Okay, say 1,000. Denied. Okay, well, forget it. Cancel IFR. Hello, hello. This is Arash. We are going to continue our flight today. It's kind of a back-to-back flight because I want to avoid, as I've mentioned in my streams before, I want to avoid the freezing condition that is going to hit us soon in the northern hemisphere, and while being in the northern part of Canada as well as Greenland. So this is what we have at this point. So we started from Toronto and then went to Kingston, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec City, Sept-Îles, Schefferville, and yesterday we flew to Iqaluit, and today we're going to fly to Nuuk in Greenland, second country that we are going to visit, and it's actually the beginning of cross Atlantic Ocean. I mean, we're gonna fly over Labrador Sea, but I mean that's the only way to cross the Atlantic. Just go above in the north, Greenland, Iceland, and then Scotland with our tiny aircraft. This is going to be a long flight, not as long as yesterday's flight, but still it's like at least 4 hours in air. Hey, Boston Boots, how are you doing? How's the weather today? It doesn't look too bad as long as we can avoid these clouds. It's not foggy, so I think it should be fine. I've already loaded the aircraft with cargo and extra fuel, similar to yesterday. We are not going to need it today, but just in case, if I had to turn back and do emergency return or something like that. So let's start the plane. And here we go. Oh, and parking brake released. Okay, I'm gonna take off. Full power, airspeed active. $70 knots and rolling. Positive rate. We share. Okay, yeah. I understand. It's not my favorite to like do it in the morning, to be honest. But in order to see things in this part of the flight, I have to do like early morning flights. But as soon as I can, as soon as uh, it's feasible for the sim in the same time zone, I'll switch to the evening time. Because evenings are work better for me, right? It'll be like after my work, and I can easily do it like in the evening time. But then it'll be all night time here. Yesterday we got rejected the request, so
Montreal Center Rush Charlie Alpha 007. Request 0.
what? No, that's not. What? Well, okay. Initial climb was to 3,000. Okay. Say 1,000.
Montreal Center Rush Charlie Alpha 007. Request 2,000 feet.
Denied. Okay, well, forget it. Cancel IFR. Okay. We are on our path. That's great. Okay, yeah. I was talking about the taxiing and why is it called even taxiing. So, you know, in like 1911 or something, they had the aircrafts. They mainly had tail wheels, right, instead of the nose wheel, and basically it was very difficult for the pilots to, you know, handle the aircraft on the ground, because it is harder to because if you, for example, if you land and then give it like too much of rudder to left and right, you can actually like basically spin your aircraft. Or if you brake hard, your airplane can actually flip and hit the propeller to the ground and damage, like badly damage it. And so this French flight school, they had these heavy aircraft. They had like smaller wings and stuff, but they weren't capable of flying really. They were only meant to be used to train the cadets, like the new pilots. So, and because it was very exciting thing at the time, like, oh, like just seeing an airplane, like for the general public. And when they were seeing it, they were like making fun of it because they weren't able to fly. They were just going back and forth practicing, and they were calling it, oh, look at that, like flying thing. It's just doing a taxiing, instead of saying like driving, because they were just like, cadets were jumping into it and basically taxiing down the runway or something like that. So that term taxiing, like we taxi down the runway, is coming from that era. So anyway, that's what I learned last night. Again, this was mentor pilot. I follow his YouTube videos. That's how I learned it. It was interesting to know, like, why is it called taxiing? Also, Boston boots. Boston boots. Sorry. Uh, Another thing that you mentioned, like evening flights. Another problem that I have is the temperature, right? Of course, like when you're on the water, it doesn't matter really to fly at night or daytime really, but the temperature drops farther. And also, if it's too dark, I won't be able to see if there is any fog in front of me or any clouds. So that is one of other reasons that although this part of the journey doesn't have anything to see really, like it's just water, sea, you know, like I want to be able to see ahead of me and not fly into clouds and get frozen up. That's another thing. So hello Captain HK, Uncle Hussein, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm still tired from yesterday's flight. I wasn't sure if I should do any stream today, but then I thought, you know, I have to do this because the interesting parts, the exciting parts are when we reach to Europe, and I want to get there, and I can't do this part of the flight during the week because they are so long, and if I postpone it, I don't know when I can do it again, and then the weather is getting worse. So yeah, today's flight is going to be 4 hours, like 1 hour shorter than yesterday's flight, but still long. Like I don't want to do these long flights really, because they are, I mean, I can do them just on weekends, but then you guys get bored as well, I assume. That's why I like to keep it like shorter, like an hour and a half, as I mentioned before. And yeah, as soon as we reach Europe, it'll be all good. Like there are so many nice, beautiful cities along the way and sceneries, and then Africa. Those are the interesting parts of the trip. But then we have to endure and survive this part of the trip in order to get the good parts. So we are flying on this path, Lake 7. So it'll be mostly water, flying over Labrador Sea. This is the first leg of ocean crossing, and we're gonna be in the second country, Greenland. So we've been in Canada so far, so Greenland is the second country we're gonna visit, and then we are gonna have another flight just over Greenland for another day, and then Iceland. This is the weather data. So we're gonna have we're gonna have clear sky. So I'm gonna try to reach at least 8,000 feet to avoid these clouds here, and then it'll be good on our way, basically the descent part. It'll be clear in Nuuk, but of course these clouds move towards east, so we will have overcast over Nuuk as well. So hopefully we'll get there soon. once we reach Europe, and then we basically have the shorter flight legs, what I want to do is basically doing accurate startup procedures. Like right now, I basically rush into the things and I don't actually follow the checklist like in the order. I quickly do the necessary stuff and then get along because I don't want to waste time for these at the beginning of the stream because we have a long flight ahead. But yeah, once it's shorter, it'll be a good opportunity to like accurately go through the checklist to make it even more immersive and realistic maybe. And maybe some people are interested as well, like if they want to see how it is. Okay, let's go a little bit higher. I want to get better fuel economy, of course. Was it saying 5,000? I think ATC was asking me to go 5,000 and then I canceled the IFR because we can go back to try the IFR plan again. I think we're good.
Montreal Center Rush Charlie Alpha 007 request IFR to Bravo Golf Golf Hotel Red.
That's kind of dumb, to be honest. Like IFR is for like difficult conditions, obviously, like when you have limited visibility and stuff like that, but it doesn't understand that I have limited capabilities with this Cessna. Like I can't just fly into clouds. It basically directs me right into the freezing conditions. Hey, we have a new follower. Drunk Stepdad, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome aboard. So what you're seeing is the attempt to fly around the world in Cessna 172. Again, for any new viewers who have joined us recently, this is the flight plan, like in total. The red ones are what we've flown so far, and the last one is what we are flying right now. So, and the blue ones are my future path, and green ones are, I keep saying that, but green one are the optional possible additions to the flight plan. And I probably do it anyway because it'll be interesting. But of course, some of these are gonna change as we discussed yesterday. One of my followers, he suggested a path to go through the Alps, and I will do that. That's a very good suggestion. Hey, good morning, Gina. It's good to be back with you. Thank you. I'm glad that you're back as well. I wasn't sure that I'm gonna actually fly today. I'm still tired from yesterday, strangely. I mean, that was a long flight yesterday. But then I thought, you know, we have to do this in order to get to the good parts in Europe. And I can't do this leg of the flight during the week unless I do it at night, which as I was explaining to Boston Boot, I mean, if I do it during the week, I have to do it after my work that means all of this lake would be at night, which in normal condition is fine because there is nothing really here. It's gonna be mostly water and sea, just crossing the sea and ocean. But then I was just afraid of not seeing clouds and just flying directly into them, and then it's all gonna be freezing condition, right? So that's why I was like, okay, we have to do this. We have to endure and survive to get to the good part. Okay, let's get higher. We're gonna get better fuel economy the higher we go. Oh, look at this. These are like it's so weird. That's something that they have to fix. Look, the river, no, it's a lake. It's raised. It's like higher than the ground. It should be lower than the ground. I mean, it's like at the middle of nowhere. I guess that's not gonna get fixed very soon, but let's have a look at it with drone shot. Gonna speed it up a little bit. That is so weird. Look at it. I've seen like a few of these kind of glitches in the sim, but not as extreme as this one. Look, the entire lake is raised. That is so weird. It's like a raised pool. Imagine if you have actually such a structure in nature. I mean, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't last that much, because if one part breaks, the whole water. Look at this. Like this. Is it a river or is it a road? Looks like a. I don't know. It's going upward here. That was interesting. I mean, these are all made by AI, right? Like they have satellite imagery, and then AI makes all of these. Hey, hi, Honey Kitchen, how are you? Look, we have another lake here, raised lake. It's so bizarre. So, yeah, I just refreshed this page. Looks the same. It hasn't changed really. So it looks like that the weather in Nuuk would be fine until like later tonight. So we will have clear sky over there. How's the fuel? Is doing 40 gallons in total, divided by 14, 2.8. Yeah, there was a rapid drop here. Not changing, so that's good. I'm getting 13 gallon per hour fuel flow. What if I drop it one more notch? 25. Yeah, now AGT is dropping, so 30 at this altitude. Can try to go 10,000 now.
Montreal Center Mirage Charlie Alpha 007. Request 10,000 feet. Mirage Charlie Alpha 007 climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Mirage Charlie Alpha 007.
So yeah, this is the end of it for flying over Canadian lands. Ahead of us is Labrador Sea, and after that would be the second country in our journey. These glitches like really are bizarre. Like it looks like this is another planet, like seeing some weird things on the ground. I hope they fix them soon. See, like it doesn't happen all the time. I think the AI is basically not understanding some of the structures. Like this lake here is normal, right? Like look, these lakes are all well, not this one, but these are normal. Look at this weird one. It's very interesting. Or like look at this. This part is perfectly normal. But then we have this weird. We are flying over an alien territory here. Like, you know, in sci-fi movies. The weather in Nuuk is freezing, but it's clear, so it's all good. Just for anyone who is new in this series of stream, this is what we are doing, basically flying around the world. We are on our day 7, flying outbound Iqaluit to Nuuk in Greenland. This is the second country we are going to visit along our path and the first leg of ocean crossing. And this is the overall view of the future path. So based on the weather data, those clouds are, I think, reaching to almost 7,000. So we are at 10,000. We should be fine right now. Let me see if I can get higher EGT here. No, it's dropping. But we're still good. Almost 40 gallon divided by, is it 12 and a half now? 12 and a half gallon per hour, 3.2. Yeah, we have 2 hours and 37 minutes of remaining flight, and we have more than 3 hours of fuel, so we're good. All systems running normal. Everything looks good. Gina, this is such an amazing journey. Really happy to tag along. I'm really happy that you're here as well. It feels great to, not do things just alone. Feels great to have like company. The icy conditions so far have been fun to watch you handle. Oh, yeah, it is fun. Yes, it is. I mean, in a challenging way. That's the thing, right? Otherwise, it gets boring. You just fly like on the body of like massive bodies of water. Like the way that ATC is just telling me, do this. I'm just, well, buddy, I can't. Why don't you understand? It's a Cessna 174. Well, I'm 72, sorry. But it gets much better, of course, these parts, and then I just can't wait to see the exciting sceneries like in Europe and Africa and beyond that. I don't know if you were here. You were here yesterday, but I'm not sure if you were when I mentioned the part that how I got the inspiration for this like virtual flight around the world. I don't know if you were like taking a break or you were listening to the stream, but I'm gonna repeat that in case somebody didn't hear. Oh, you missed that part? Okay, no worries. So the I got the inspiration to basically do this flight around the world after I watched a series of video, like 70 something episodes of video on YouTube done by a YouTuber. His name is Louis, and his channel is Fun with Louis or something like that, if I say it right. So he basically, he's not a pilot, or at the time he wasn't a pilot, and this happened 2 years ago, and I watched the videos after the journey was done. So like he was basically he bought a plane, and it was a Cessna 210. So it's a bigger airplane than this one. It has like de-icing and stuff like that, and it has longer range than this 172. So he bought the plane, and I'm not sure right now, but he wasn't a pilot at the time. So his buddy JP, who happened to be a streamer right now, he actually has his own, JP has his own Twitch channel. He, like real pilot, he basically flew the plane. These two guys went around the world, and like they had some other friends joining them for some shorter legs. So that's a very fun YouTube series to watch. And when I watched that, again, it was like 2 years ago, and I watched it after. Oh, you know JP's stream? Yes, same guy. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Louis was the one who bought the plane. JP was the one who flew the plane. And whenever you have time, just watch that YouTube series, Fun with Louis. Yeah, it was so much fun to watch that. I liked it so much. And then I was like, man, like I wish I could do such a thing. Of course, I was saying it yesterday. It's really a privilege to do that, right? Like not everybody has that financial background to do it, but if you have such a power to do it, why not? Like I will do that in a heartbeat. Like if I have enough money to buy a plane, I wouldn't think twice. I will buy it and go fly around the world. It's the best thing ever. But of course I can't do that. I do it virtually. That's the closest thing you can get. But yeah, anyone who hasn't seen it, I recommend you to see that. They are like fun people to watch. But again, their plane had much longer range than 172, and they, of course, they had extra tank. Like their flight path was almost like this. I can kind of show you roughly the difference between my plan and theirs. So this part of the plan is the same. So they flew from California, and they went to Boston, and then they went to Quebec, and then they flew directly to Iqaluit, and Iqaluit to Nuuk, and then Greenland, and then etc. etc. They flew to north of Africa. They didn't go to like central or southern, and basically they flew this path, and then they went to Australia. If I remember correctly, I think they went to New Zealand as well, and then they flew from here to Hawaii, this path, and then went back to the US. uh, and they had like again extra fuel, like an auxiliary tank in the back seat, and that's how they could fly this long range. With this airplane with 172, no way. Even with extra fuel carrying on board, there's no way you can fly this path. Plus, it's like all massive oceans. Like I think that leg of the flight was, if I remember correctly, it was like 12 hours. It was insane. But yeah, so because of the limitations of 172 that we are flying in the sim, I decided to, I should go through Japan and here this path instead. But yeah, this part of the flight, like ocean crossing here, it's very similar to their journey. Like he doesn't do, I mean, because of the COVID-19 right now, the Louis channel is not that active right now, but like his previous videos are so much fun to watch. And here, if you want to see, this is the YouTube channel I mentioned. Now I have to watch the series. Yes, I totally recommend it. Yes. Oh, see, that's their plane, the one that Cessna 210. But yeah, he's the guy who bought the plane, and let me see if I can. I showed it yesterday during the stream. This is 1 year ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Where is it? Oh, here, yeah, this series. World Flight. I think it's 73 episodes or something. 72 episodes. And he called it My Biggest Adventure. But yeah, like this is the episode 1, and basically like he goes through all of the the preparation parts, like when they go and see the plane, when they want to buy it, and their like preparation, like buying the equipment and stuff like that. For the first, I think 12 episodes, that's the preparation part. And then episode 12, after episode 12, they actually start the flight. That looks like the exact opposite of my life right now. I'm held up in apartment because of COVID, so not going anywhere or doing anything. Well, you're not alone, buddy. Like, yeah, for many people it's the same. So don't feel you're alone in this situation. Like, I've been working from home since March, and it's not gonna change anytime soon, I guess. Hello, I'm back. My tea is hot again and everything is good. Okay, I think we are light enough to try to go higher a little bit even. Let's try 11,000. Let's get a weather update. See if anything has changed. No, looks good to me.
Charlie Alpha 007, please expedite your climb to 11,000 feet.
Looks good. That is weird. Let me see what the ATC is complaining about. No, we're good. But look at this. That is so weird. Like, I wonder if it's actually that much of cloud. Wow. Look at these huge clouds. So if I wasn't flying today, I would have been stranded in Iqaluit for God knows how long. Like, there is no way I could fly up above these clouds. So that's 24 hours later. That's Tuesday. Wednesday. Oh my god, look at this. So Thursday. So that gander, that's our first non-Canadian ATC. Okay. Interesting stuff here. But the temperature rises. Okay, so that's not too bad. For the next few days, there won't be any flights. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for Friday and Saturday, we're gonna have very high temperatures. So that's good. Even if there are clouds, there shouldn't be like dangerous situation. Let's see, 14 days. So the temperature rises for next weekend in Nuuk. But then we're gonna have precipitation, of course, a lot of it. and that's probability of like how accurate this is going to be. By the time that we actually cross the ocean, we should celebrate, I guess. Just being able to, you know, survive these harsh conditions. Look at all of these frosts. This is okay though, it should be fine. The right temperature, like the tea. I don't know if you guys are like that, but for me tea is like has to be on that very specific temperature. Like if it's right below where it can burn you. If it gets colder than that, it's kind of I don't know. Our ground speed is pretty good, 129 knots. We have a good tailwind, it's helping us greatly. Let's see if I can lean this a little bit more. Yes, it's rising now. If you go 20%, it probably drops. Yes, so 25 is the sweet spot at this altitude. 11 gallon per hour. We have 15, 16 ish per, yeah, 16 times 2 divided by 11. We have almost 3 hours of flight time, and the ETE is 2 hours and 12 minutes. We are in pretty good shape. Another thing that I was thinking about with this long journey, that you know, it's all probability, right? The more time you spend, the higher the chance that it can occur, and that if the flight sim program crashes, like what should we do? If I hope it doesn't, because that would be so annoying, but because we are trying to keep it as real as possible, I'm doing like real time, real weather, and try to follow certain rules as long as it doesn't put the whole thing in danger. But what if the flight sim itself crashes? What should I do? Like, should I go back to the airport that I took off and basically do that part of the flight again, because it's hard to say exactly like where I am at this exact time. I mean, yeah, we can, like, for example, look at the GPS and like if we go to this, where is it? Yeah, so that's our exact position, but I don't have that data the entire time in my view, right? So like in a random spot, if we crash, if the application crashes, I wouldn't know exactly where on the path I am. So yeah, there are two options. Either I load the sim again and start that leg of the flight from my departure airport, or should I say like, oh yeah, I was here like approximately, and spawn the airplane like mid-flight and continue. That's something I'm not sure. If anyone has any suggestions, let me know. That's one scenario to think about. The other scenario is if I screw up right now, because everything is like true to life right now. Like the crash is on, the like over stress, like everything is as real as possible in this flight sim. So if I have like a if I don't know, at night, if I don't see, let's say, a mountain or something, I can crash into a mountain and basically it ends. Or if I have like a hard landing, stuff like that. So what happens if in that scenario? Well, in real life that should never happen, right? If Nuuk gamer, if you screw up, you should redo the entire flight. Entire flight, like you mean the entire around the world, or just that leg of the flight? Like that's what I mean. Entire flight, like, oh, that leg. Okay. So thanks for the being not hard on, like, you know what I mean, like not taking it so hard on me. Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. As if I do, like, let's say hard landing, right? I damage my aircraft. So that's kind of fixable, I guess. I'll be stranded for a long time, and then I have to, like, you know, spend a lot of money to fix the aircraft or get another aircraft if it's that bad. If I survive, then I can continue the flight from the departing airport. What about the sim? Like, what if the sim crashes? What should I do? Like, should I spawn the airplane in the approximate location, my last approximate location, or should I start that leg again? I just want to, like, have that in mind before they occur, like at the middle of the stream. That's up to you. I had a crash yesterday and redid the flight, but I fly the 152, which does not have GPS. Okay. I mean, if it's a short flight, yeah, I think about it now. If it's a short flight, to keep it like continuous, I will redo that flight again. But if it's a long one and it's like pain in the pain in the arse, I probably like spawn it in the approximate location. I mean, again, right now, like I don't have any information on my screen here on my monitor to see where I am, but where is it? Sim Toolkit Pro. I'm using Sim Toolkit Pro to basically log all of my flight path and hours and stuff like that. So it might kind of I'm guessing that it records my last location. This hasn't happened, by the way, knock the wood. But I like to be prepared for such scenario. Again, the longer you spend time, don't use the VFR. It's glitched and will crash the program. Oh, the VFR map. Okay, I see. Yeah, I never actually turn it on. Like the only thing you see on the screen, like I don't even have that on my monitor. That the map that you see on the top right corner is for it's on my streaming laptop, and that's the only thing. That's for viewers only, and I don't use the VFR map. But good to know. Thank you very much for letting me know. I won't touch that. Probably we can kind of look at our approach plan. So let me see. Nuuk Airport. It's such a short runway. They don't have ILS, just localizer. I mean full ILS. So we will arrive, let me see. Kilo uniform, then Golf Hotel. That's Golf Hotel. And then turn to 015, and then after that turn right to capture the localizer. If we get clearance for runway 23. Runway unspecified. And 1400 for the minimums. Are you going to Europe? Yes, Greenland would be our first stop in Europe. So we exited North America, basically. I mean, we are still in North America. Actually, no. We were passed over to Gander, which technically we are in, well, it's in the international waters right now, I think. But yeah, we will soon be in Europe, technically. I mean, yeah, we are going to be. So after that, Iceland, then Scotland, and UK. I'm going to change this path though. Instead of going directly from France to Spain, I'm going to go to Germany. I'm not sure if I should go to Frankfurt. I can go to Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Munich, and then I'm gonna take that path that was suggested yesterday in the chat to fly through Alps. There are passages that you can basically take. Apparently, one of the first stops is Innsbruck. That's a very beautiful approach. You basically have to take this path, like in that kind of canyon. Like these areas are so beautiful, and then you land into Innsbruck, and it's like a very famous airport, like in real life. And it's very beautiful in the sim as well. These are like huge mountains, right? The Alps are famous, of course. Another change that I might do to my future flight plan path is when I go down to Africa, should I fly through, like after I go to Egypt, should I go to like Middle East via Saudi Arabia and Dubai and then Karachi, or should I go up and go to Turkey? Like that's another possibility, right? I can go from Cairo in Egypt. I can I have to check the exact distance here. But I can, I don't know. Because I think it'll be more interesting if I go to Turkey because of all of the mountains and stuff. Like I don't know. I've never flown in the new sim in either of these regions. So I don't know, like if, because in Saudi Arabia there's going to be like a lot of like there's going to be a lot of just deserts, right? But sometimes like deserts can be very interesting to see, like the landscape. Or should I go to Turkey and you know, and Ankara, Istanbul? They have a lot of, like, in real life they are like beautiful cities, and then there's going to be like very beautiful mountains along the way. It means you don't have a stop in England. Yes, we are going to have a stop in England. London is one of my stops for sure. Like after we reach Scotland, I'm gonna fly like to, I don't know, either Glasgow or Edinburgh, and one of the stops will be in London City Airport. I mean, this is like estimate. This is not the exact point that I'm gonna stop. Less than 2 hours to our European destination. First European destination. We're halfway through the flight. Okay, how are we doing here? Fuel looks good. GT fuel flow, oil temperature and pressure, vacuum, ammeter. Looks perfect. Should we? I thought I heard Morse code. It was the music. I was like, what kind of radio station is it? And then I was looking at these, the nav 1 and nav 2. It's just, yeah, it's turned off. It shouldn't be Morse code. Okay, let's try to go one step higher. I want to see how far we can go. I mean, this aircraft can fly, I think maximum altitude is, cruising altitude is 14,000 feet. But we are kind of heavy right now.
Gander Center Mirage Charlie Alpha 007. Request 12,000 feet. Mirage Charlie Alpha 007, climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Mirage Charlie Alpha 007.
Because the higher we go, not only we get better fuel consumption, we also get potentially we can get a higher ground speed as well, right? And the reason is because the wind is stronger the higher you go, and we are going from west to east, so the tailwind would be stronger. I mean, it's dropping right now because we are climbing, but I can actually see if it shows up in our weather plots, graphs. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna change that much. So we are between yeah, it's not gonna change that much, really. Sometimes it does though, but with this right now it's gonna be like 20 kilometers per hour apparently. maybe a tiny bit. It'll definitely get colder though. You're gonna drop down to minus 22 degrees Celsius. But we are gonna be far away from the icing condition. That's as fast as I can. Be patient, buddy. If anyone has any questions or any suggestions, as always, welcome. You're welcome to hit me up. Like I'm all open for any questions, any suggestions, anything really. I mean, I'm doing this stream for you guys, so I'm open to anything. If you have any criticism, whatever, anything, let me know. So ground speed is 126. It was 125, right? We gained 127. So we gained 2 knots. Better than nothing. So are we at no, it's not, it's in the green area, but still not 10 gallon per hour. Let's see if I zoom in here and let's see if it drops 20. Whoop, nope. EGT drops. Okay, I think, yeah, 25 still is the sweet spot. So the next leg, the next waypoint is 183 nautical miles. Boston Boots, why is your back plan take you around Africa instead of straight through? What? Sorry. What is your back plan? You're around Africa instead of straight. Okay, let me go back to the plan. You're referring why it goes down here? Straight through, like, well, initially I mean, this is my main plan, but by the time we reach here, like, I want to see in the last moment backup plan. Oh, okay. Well, that's like an optional addition, like something that if there are interests, like if you guys want me to do, like, I will go all the way down to Central and Southern Africa. But if there is not enough interest, I just go basically through the northern part of Africa. That's why I put it like in different color as the possible addition, like optional thing. Does it make sense? Does that answer your question? Or I'm not sure. Let me know if it doesn't. I mean, it adds a lot of time to the total flight, right? But if you guys want it to do, I will do that for sure. I can just go straight here. Safari route, yeah. I mean, especially like the Central Africa, like these are like beautiful places, and I haven't actually flown here in these parts of the world. Even in the old sims, like not in P3D, I've flown over them, but I've never actually been like close to ground to see the scenery. Like I'm sure in this sim there are like beautiful landscapes. So I don't know, like you guys are the viewers and part of this whole journey. So that's why I'm asking for your opinion. Like, give me suggestions, hit me up, and as much as it's possible, I'll do it. Sorry for the noise. But again, like you have to keep that in mind that it's gonna take a long time to go through these parts compared to this blue line. But if it's rewarding, I'll do that. Wildlife is in the same, exactly. That's right. Like there are a lot of bush flights, like missions in the sim already, like built in. So that's why I think it's interesting, as long as you guys are also on board with it. Because we are not gonna have problems with like icing and stuff in Africa, right? So we are basically free in going in any altitude. I just take like VFR flights, point A to point B, and fly close to the ground, like enjoying the scenery and stuff like that. Hey, at ground speed is 128. Just a tiny bit faster. So how much is it? 8 nautical miles, and then the next segment of the flight is 183. And that divided by 128, 1 hour and 30 minutes at this speed. Hello, I'm back. Okay, how's everything here? Fuel quantity, EGT, oil pressure, temperature, vacuum, ammeter, RPM. Looks good. And the cloud is amazing. Yes, it is. I agree completely. I agree. Like in real life, it's in my opinion, it's one of the best times when you have this kind of cloud coverage. One time I was flying with my flight instructor friend, not in a Cessna, that time was with a Diamond, like these tiny two-seated aircrafts. And I mean, it was in summer, so it wasn't like freezing or anything, but we had like cloud coverage like this, and he went above the clouds, and it was like out of this world. Like the view, like just let's say like we were only 1,000 feet above the broken clouds. I have like videos of it, of that flight. It was like, I don't know, it was like heaven. I mean, literally. It was beautiful, and I love it. Like whenever we have cloud in the sky like this, I can feel like anyone who is flying with GA aircrafts, they have the best time when it comes to what they see. Hey, we have a new follower, KCG, if I'm saying it right. Thank you so much for the follow, I appreciate it. Welcome aboard. You have joined us in our flying around the world in this beautiful Cessna 172, and this is our leg number 7, 7th day. We have left North America, um, and we are on our way to Greenland, Nuuk in Greenland. And if you are interested, I keep showing this map, but just in case for the new viewers, if anyone who has joined us recently. So this is the flight plan. We have this is our flight. I started from Toronto City Center Airport. First plane I ever flew was 172 in real life. Yeah, I love that airplane. I don't know why. It's an amazing bird. And yeah, so we flew to from Toronto to Kingston, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, and then Sept-Îles, Shefferville, Iqaluit. That was the longest flight so far. Leg 6 yesterday we did that, and we are in leg 7 right now, heading to Nuuk, Greenland. Yeah, Cessna 172 lacks a lot of features when it comes in compared to other airplanes, but it's such a classic aircraft. It's just, I don't know, like one of the challenges we had, especially yesterday, was just icing conditions, right? There is no de-icing like for the leading edges of the wings, and I had to avoid the visible moisture in the air, and it was like crazy. But still, it's one of my favorite airplanes, really. Yeah, none. No de-icing whatsoever. I mean, except the pitot heat tube, right? But yeah, it's the classic of all airplanes, in my opinion. It's like the right balance between like when it goes to like older airplanes and the new ones. This is like the middle one. It's like so easy to handle, so easy to fly with, but without all of those safety features and stuff like that. No South America on the trip. That's something that has been I've been asked about. Oh, we got a new follower, Way Katie, if I'm saying it right. Sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome aboard. I will add that if there is enough interest. Like as you can see, I have like the different colors. The red ones are my progress so far. The blue one is my initial plan, which is already changed. I will update that for sure, because I'm gonna go to Germany once I reach mainland Europe, and I will fly through the Alps. And then the green ones are the optional additions that I added. Again, we were discussing about it earlier in this stream. I will add that if there is enough interest, because I'm sure there are beautiful landscapes in Central Africa as well as South Africa. And once we come back to North America from this side, sorry, just 1 second. I didn't hear what they said. Oh no, okay, it wasn't to me. I will add, instead of going through the United States to basically close this loop, I will go to Mexico and South America if there is enough interest. I will do that. Again, it's for the viewers, right? I put it up for a vote once we get, but this is going to be a long trip. So by the time that we come back to Alaska and United States, we have enough time to think about South America for sure. Are you flying steam gauges or G1000? This is G1000. Sorry, steam gauges. I'm sorry. Yes, I like the classic look of it. And when you get to UK, wave as you pass EGNT. Okay, yeah, for sure. I've actually mentioned it. One of my good followers. He is in England, and he showed interest to fly that path with me, because I am online, like in the sim. My multiplayer is enabled, and you're welcome to join me in any of the legs you want. Like, you can find me in the skies. My nameplate is Captain Arash. You can see that and fly with me. That's something that I hope that happens. Like, if there are people interested and they have Flight Sim 2020, they can join me, and it'll be much more fun if we do like flight formation and stuff like that. Newcastle International. Let me see. Newcastle would be. It's not on my current flight path, but I can certainly change it slightly to the east from Edinburgh. Yeah, Newcastle, for sure. I'll add that to my flight plan. I don't know why I didn't consider that at the beginning, but that's a good addition. Because once I cross the ocean, I will do that. Basically, my plan is to keep it short. Like, these long flights are kind of people might get bored because they are so long. But once I reach Europe, I try to keep it like in 1 hour, 1.5 hour flights, because it'll be more interesting. So like shorter distances, like more cities to visit, and Newcastle would be a great addition to that. Nice, I might just do that. Yeah, for sure, you're welcome to do that for any legs of the flight, not for off your path. But yeah, this is going to be a very long journey, and there are a lot of possibilities that we can basically explore, right? So have you flown with the steam gauges or G1000? That's the beauty of this sim. Like which part? You mean all of the possibilities that we can explore, or? Yeah, I agree. The freedom you have. Like yesterday, um, the ATC, the AI ATC, was basically directing me to go higher in, because we had clouds and I wanted to avoid clouds because of the freezing condition, and I requested flight at a lower altitude to 2000, and immediately it was like denied. Like I was like, well, I'm gonna cancel the IFR, bye. There was no way I could fly in like 5000 as they were telling me to do. You fly mainly with the steam gauges because that's what I learned with when I took my PPL. So I'm just so familiar with them. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know why I have that feeling, but you know, says when you talk about Cessna, I immediately think about the steam gauges. All of that classic look. Yeah, it's very nice to have that Garmin, like small Garmin GPS added there, but it's kind of weird when I see G1000 in a Cessna. Like, I mean, yeah, it's like modern looking and stuff, but yeah, there are tons of other aircrafts that are like modern. They all have these glass cockpits, but that this classic look, it's just, I don't know, I just love it. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong, like in P3D, I don't have them in the FS 2020, but in P3D I have PMDG aircrafts that are highly detailed. Like I have Boeing 777, I have 747, both dash 400 and dash 8, and they're all like glass cockpit and super modern, and it's amazing. I love those aircrafts. Before FS 2020, that was my thing, like and it still is. I always fly with those airliners, like, because I love modern technologies. And I have actually circumnavigated the globe like several times in both 777 and 747 in P3D. I never streamed them. I'm pretty new on Twitch and doing streaming, but when they announced FS 2020, and when I saw all of those trailers, and they were showing all of the sceneries and how beautifully it's done, I was like, that's the sim I should use for like GA flying with. Of course, like many other people have had the same idea as well, because it's so beautiful. And then like almost 2 years ago, I watched this YouTube series. I actually talked about it earlier in this stream. There is this guy called Louis, and his YouTube channel is Fun with Louis. They flew around the world in a Cessna 210, and he bought a plane. He's not a pilot, but his friend JP is a pilot. And they flew around the world. So when that was like 2 years ago, I watched that series after they finished their trip around the world, and I got this idea from them basically. Of course, their Cessna 210 has longer range, and it has like de-icing and stuff like that. But I wanted to do a kind of similar trip in Cessna 172. And when FS 2020 came out, I was like, that's the time, that's the sim to do this journey with. The scenery is amazing, so for GA this is superb. Exactly, I totally agree, and that's why I'm doing this. It's a long journey, but it is very rewarding, and I'm glad like all of you guys are here. So it's fun to have company along the way. And of course, like anyone who wants to fly with me, as I mentioned, like the fun of it will be much more. And you're feel free to add me like in the sim, so you can find me in the skies. You will, yeah. That's awesome. I look forward to that. In fact, I'm just adding. I have to add a row here in my spreadsheet, and then I will update that map that I showed you. I'm Ali Katz in the game. Oh, in the sim. Okay, cool, nice. So I know when you add me, I will know that's you. Awesome. I'm so excited for that. I think in total, I'm not sure exactly, but the sim is capable of having like groups of 50 people. But along the way, like, sorry, what was it? Okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, no worries. Anytime. Feel free to do that. Anytime that you have time, you're free and stuff. Yeah, I watched several streams where they have loads of group flyers. So fun. Yes, I totally agree. I've been actually, I have flown in groups with another streamer. His channel is called Canuck Musician. He's from Alberta, Canada, and it was so fun, so much fun. Um, he had a tour of Australia, and like at some points, I think we had like 10 airplanes or something, just flying information. It's very good. So how are we doing here? everything looks good. See if the fuel consumption has changed any. We are at almost 12.5 per tank. That divided by what, 10.5, 2.3 hours. That's good. We have less than an hour of remaining flight. So according to the weather maps, I think we're gonna have clear skies. Basically the clouds will be over. Well, 120 kilometers, the last final, yeah, this part. So we can easily descend without facing any icing. Yeah, so we are all good. I'm gonna tune the frequencies right now. So the ADF 314 Golf Hotel, Golf Hotel. That's for the ADF 314, and let me see. Oh, we don't have any VOR station. Oh no, we do, right at the airport. No, I misread that. Never mind, sorry. So we only have two ADFs. Kilo Uniform and Golf Hotel. But the first one is 298. So that's the first one, and then oh, we already got it. Okay, that's Kilo Uniform. Meteor at Nuuk looks good, looks fine. Yes, that's great. Great news. What I see here is, let's see if it matches with the meteor that you looked at. Right now, this is the website that flightsim actually gets the data from. So we have 1 degrees Celsius to 4 kilometers per hour wind, and the rest of the data. I don't have much of the information here. Does it match with what you see? Clear sky. Yes, says 5, so close. Okay. 5. Oh, the temperature is +5. Visibility greater than 10. That's awesome. Temp 1 degree. Okay, that's good. Wind 5. Okay. Wind 5 and is it 1050 the direction? Zero 40 at 5. Okay, so we might actually change. I don't know if they're gonna give us. I don't know about the tower at Nuuk in this sim. Iqaluit, it was like on my own basically, but we probably have to take this runway 05 then if it's zero, since it's 040. So no localizer for us. I mean, we don't need it. It's gonna be visual approach anyway. QNH 1008. 1008. Awesome. Thank you for the info. So in that case, if we take 05, runway 05, these are weird approaches. What do we have? No star. No star for Nuuk. But it'll be a beautiful visual approach. That's from AeroPlus, the Meteor app I use. Okay. So far I was just using like I was comparing it with Nav Canada, with the weather data that I was getting on Meteo Blue with Nav Canada. That's like the official source for Canadian airspace. Is there like any like official source for European countries, or is it like each country different? Pretty close. And is AeroPlus just an app, or do they have a website? Because it's fun to compare these values. Not entirely sure. I'll look for that and see. Because of course Nav Canada was only good for Canadian airspace. Now I need other sources for other parts of the world. Just an app. I used to use it in the air in real life. Okay. And let me see. 1008. Is it 2977? Because that's what I have here. It's an inch of mercury. I would be. I'll set that once I start my approach. I mean, technically, I have to set it now because I'm below 18,000 feet. But they never told me what it is. Oh, sorry. Oh, it is changed. I never changed it actually. Ooh, that's bad. $2987. Okay. Perfect. It's good to have a real pilot on the stream. It's funny, spot on with the HPA. Okay. Like during the flight on my first leg, basically from Toronto to Kingston, Ontario, I actually had a 172 flight instructor joining the stream, and I didn't know at the beginning. Like I was just basically just trying to explain like different basic things that I kind of learned, and it turned out to be like he was like an instructor. I was like, oh my god, like I was explaining all of these to an instructor. I was just okay. And then it was before my approach and landing. I was like, oh, now I'm nervous because an instructor is watching me. But it turned out to be good. You only fly recreationally. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, it's mostly for fun, right? Like that's something I want to become one day, once I have enough financial backbone that can support me like that. Like I'm still saving. I could do that like a couple of years ago, because after I finished my school, I had student loans, and then when that was managed, I had two choices: either go to flight school or buy a condo. And I was like, which one is the more adult thing to do, right? Like I have to invest on something to live in and then save for the flight school. So I was like, I'll do that. But yeah, that's one day in my life. That's my biggest dream, to become like a real life licensed pilot. And I just love to fly with just GA, like just for fun. It's cool to get like your night rating and instrument rating and stuff like that, but those are just too expensive. I just want to get my PPL, like just go VFR, having enjoyable times. Yeah, condo, then save for lessons. Exactly. I was like, that's the adult way to go through the life. But that is awesome that you do that. Yeah, I don't have any rating than VFR. I mean, yeah, if it only makes sense to spend for those ratings when you need it, right? Like if you can make money out of it. Let's say that's your career or something. Otherwise, I don't think it's really necessary to spend, unless you have like money to just spend. VFR, just daytime flight, is more than enough for me at this point. Like I would be so happy. Like I would be the happiest guy in the world if one day I can do that. That's what sims are for, right? Exactly. That's right. So we are on our last quarter of the flight for today. Nuuk is right ahead of us, 42 minutes to the destination. I was thinking of flying routes that aviators in history flew some points. That's a very interesting thing, yeah. It'll be very cool to actually do that. Who was the first person that flew over Atlantic? I knew his name. Let me Google it. Charles Lindbergh, right? He flew he flew over the Atlantic. He was the first person who did that, and his plane was called Spirit of St. Louis. This is the guy in this airplane. Imagine like if you actually have a mod for this aircraft and try to fly over the Atlantic. Spirit of St. Louis, yes. I think when I was a kid, I actually read a book. I can't remember the exact details, but it took him like over 30 hours to fly over the Atlantic. And like he had to go through a lot of like freezing and stuff like that. The reference point out of the cockpit when you land is known as the Lindbergh reference. Oh, interesting to know. But yeah, at the point of flaring, uses little window to look out. Oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah, imagine like being alone for like over 30 hours in that tiny aircraft. Like I don't know how true it is, but in the book that I read when I was a child about him and his flight, like at some point, basically there was no navigational instruments, right? So he was just flying over an island somewhere. So he wanted to ask for directions. I don't know if it's just a legend or it actually happened, but he was flying over an island, and he had to lower down, like he basically reduced his altitude, turned off his engine, and then asked a shepherd or a farmer where the next point is, and that person on the ground was like, what? Like, like he was just amazed and basically lost his speech. Like, what the hell is this? He basically just continued his path, and he found his way. But yeah, that was like, imagine that, like like driving like a car, just lower down your window. Hey, like, where is the next street? Do that in an airplane. The icing issues he had, yes, exactly. That was like he had to fly so close to the water. I think he had to like shake his wings to break the ice off of it, something like that. It is cool if it's right. Yeah, I don't know if it's just a legend or for real, but that's so funny when you think about it. Which way is Ireland? Yeah. Imagine that farmers, like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Like, is the witch? Bro, I don't know if they knew about airplanes at the time. Which year was it? Probably they had heard about like these flying machines. (1927). Okay, so most likely they had heard about like airplanes and stuff. And yeah, it was exact 33 hours from New York to Paris the whole way. Like, he didn't just fly to the closest land. Like, he flew from New York to Paris all the way, non-stop. It wasn't post World War One, yeah. So yeah, definitely they knew about flying machines. Imagine if it was before that, like they would have thought, oh, it's a witch or a wizard flying in a like flying tube with wings in the sky. With no windscreen, he used a periscope. Wow. Hey, I can see Greenland. It's right there. Using periscope, wow. Like with all of that icing condition, jeez. You need to be so brave. Like, imagine, like, no one could save him if something would have happened to him. Like, he was entirely on his own. No communication devices, nothing. That's our first glance of Europe in this journey. I can't even imagine the guts these guys had. Yes, exactly. Like, that's insane. See, that's the thing. Uh, like, I've had like a similar conversation with other people about like space travel. You know, back in 1960s when they flew, when they had like launches to space and to the moon. Like if I was in that time, and if I had the privilege to get accepted in those programs, like although they were saying like it was like a 50-50 chance of doing the mission successfully, I would still do it if I was in that time. But with like pre-World War II aircrafts, like these kind of flights, I don't know if I could actually do that, because the technology wasn't there yet, right? I mean, those people were pioneers of these kind of things, like, and they basically paved the way by having that courage to do it. But again, the mechanical things, that there was no tech per se, there was nothing to navigate stuff like today, and also even the mechanics of the aircrafts weren't sufficient enough to do it safely, but they still did it. They had guts. Yes, exactly. Let me see this Golf Hotel, right? That we are still not getting Golf Hotel signal. That's the ADF right at the airport. I wonder if I can get anything from the localizer on runway 23 while approaching to runway 5. And just set the frequency and see what it shows. What is it? 110.3. $30 minutes to our destination. story was a way looking at the charts too. I have these charts. I use Navigational. I'm not sure if you have. I'm sure like you have access to probably like other maps for like real life flying, but I don't have any stars. That's the airport chart I have, and for the approach, this is for runway 5, and this one. It's a little bit weird. Okay, you use Navigraph as well. Okay, for sim. Same one I was looking. Okay. Maps for excuse me, maps for real life. Police chart and police chart plates. Okay. I wonder how different they are. Like, I'm sure like the Navigraph charts are like toned down version of those police charts, right? Like there are much less information on them. Yes, Navigraphs are very good. I agree, and I've been using them for like several years now. Can't remember when I actually signed up for their for their plan, like a monthly plan. But yeah, I absolutely love them. Like, it's the closest thing we can get in real life in the sim. And I'm very excited for their VFR charts. I look forward for that. Once they incorporate VFR charts in their product, it would be like awesome. I haven't seen any like samples of it, but I follow them on Twitter to see when they release their VFR charts. I mean, if you fly in the US, you can use SkyVector website. I mean, not for filing your flight plan. You can just look at the VFR charts. But for the rest of the world, basically there is none. There is not much of other choices really. The flying map works nice, as you can overlay the airport charts, which is nice, and see where you are. Yes, exactly. I mean, in fact, what you see at the top right corner is for the viewers. Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing. I tend to actually turn off the flying map just for the more challenge thing, but sometimes I turn it on. Yes. Yeah, SkyVector isn't so good outside the US. Yep, unfortunately. I wish there was like a global thing showing. I mean, of course, somehow they need to make money as well, right? But I'm willing to pay like a reasonable price, which I'm doing right now for Navigraph. It's reasonable price to pay for like serious simmers. But like if you want to get like Jeppesen charts, they are insanely expensive. It doesn't make any sense to get it for like simulators. Yeah. Okay, 7,000 feet. Oh, 23. Okay, they just changed it. I didn't even get the chance to respond.
Descend and maintain 2,300 feet. Expect vectors visual runway 5 approach Arash Charlie Alpha 007.
They are for in real life flight. What we see on Navigraph, you mean? Like, is it exactly similar to the ones that we get for Jeppesen? I mean, they are based on Jeppesen, but I didn't know they are exactly the same. Yeah, and yes, exactly. I know that Jeppesen is for real life. That's right. What I was saying is that, like, if you want to get VFR charts, like for the whole world from Jeppesen, it does, like, it's insane. It's so expensive. It doesn't make any sense to get it just for the sim. But like I don't know. That's what I mean. Is like if VFR charts of Navigraph that are coming up is very similar to what Jeppesen is providing in real life, it would be amazing. Insane prices, yes. Like you only have to. It only makes sense for businesses, like not for simmers. But the prices for Navigraph are like completely reasonable in my opinion. The amount of details that they provide for simmers, it's something that I've been paying for them for their service really, and I don't even notice it because it's monthly, like a little bit of for the product you're getting, it is worth it. I'm hoping the same. Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting to be exact, like, but as far as it matches with what we see in the sim, like it's not missing anything. It provides like the same topography and features. That's the most important part, right? You want to see like the minimums of this area that you're flying in, stuff like that. Definitely been subscribed for about 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, runway 5 as it was expected. So if we fly directly towards Let me see. I'm actually going to change my course towards Kilo uniform, and then that would give me a better distance. See, did I miss anything? The music was too loud. Send and maintain. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna head towards Kilo uniform ADF. That gives me a good distance for visual approach to runway 5. That's the point I'm heading to. I'm gonna zoom the map for you guys as well. Maybe more? That's too much. Here. I think that's the first person I've seen in a while. There's nobody around this area. Disco Shrew, hello there fella. How do you bring that map up? Literally just looking for any in-flight map. Yeah, this is Navigraph charts. We were actually talking about it. I have Navigraph installed on my streaming PC as well. So through my basically it's connected through LAN, right? My so it's an add-on. Yes, it is exactly. There is what is it called again? There is like a I forgot the name of that add-on, Sim Connect or something like that. You have to have it on your gaming PC. If you have it like a second streaming PC, and then it basically broadcasts your location into your local network, and then you can open up Navigraph on your second PC, just detects it. It's very easy to use. Navigraph Simlink, yes, that's correct. Thank you for correcting me. It's very simple to use, and thank you for the follow, by the way. I appreciate it. Welcome aboard. And I totally recommend it. Not only you get map like that, you get charts, which is awesome. Like I've been using their charts for years now. Yeah, you're welcome, no problem. Like for example, charts like this. Let me bring it up here. Like this is my approach chart right now, where I'm going to Nuuk, Ireland. And of course you have like airport charts. This is a small airport, you don't get that much of stuff. Like there is no star or seat, but for larger airports you have tons of charts, like different information. I can't fly without Navigraph. I love their product, really. Flying VFR too limiting. Yes, I don't use the in-sim VFR. Someone actually earlier in the chat mentioned that apparently there is a glitch anyway. Like I haven't used it, but apparently if you open it, it might actually crash your sim. So I don't know, and I don't want to use that. Yeah. After 4 hours of flight, the sim crashes. But they have like a yearly plan that you can get, or monthly. I've signed up, like I signed up for their monthly plan like several years ago. I can't remember when, and I don't even notice it sometimes. I just have it. You know, what is it? PayPal. I just paid using PayPal on a monthly basis, and it's so cheap. To be honest, like if you're a serious simmer, if you use it all the time, it is worth it. Yes, if you don't open it as soon as you press fly now. Okay, I see. Okay, let's reach the fuel a little bit here. It won't crash if you open it straight away, but start flying, open it, and it will crash. Okay. Hey, FAPI 360, what's in front? South America? No, it's Greenland. It's our first European stop during my flight around the world. I can bring up my maps here to give you a quick glance of where I'm going. Where is my map? I keep saying that I'm gonna put this the link to this map on my stream profile, but I keep the post because I want to have better updates. But yeah, we flew from Toronto and all the way to here, and we are landing in Nuuk, Greenland. That's where we are. That's what you see. It's in the known issues of the latest patch notes. Oh, okay, they should. That's one of the things they should fix soon. Yeah. Where did you start from, mate? Yeah, I started from Toronto City Center Airport, and then I went to Kingston, Ontario, and then from there I flew to Montreal, and then we went to Quebec, Sip-Lay, Shefferville, and then from there yesterday was the longest flight so far from Shefferville to Iqaluit in Nunavut, Canada, and today is the 7th day here. That's crazy. Yes, it is crazy. But I'm glad that you guys are following me, and it's good to have company. Mind me asking what your UK stops look like? Yeah, so far I have so I will arrive in Scotland. I'm not sure exactly which what would be the first city. I will update that on my on this map, and I put it on my profile. The link, I mean, but for sure I will go to Edinburgh, and then what was it again? I'm trying to keep an eye on the sim as well. Newcastle for sure, as we talked about it, and then probably Leeds or Sheffield, if I'm saying it right, Birmingham, London. These are like the main stops that I have in my mind as far as for now. But this is like a dynamic plan, so it'll change over time. Well, theoretically, Cessna would cross the world in 10 days non-stop flight. Yes, that is that matches with my calculations, because like if you have it's like what is it, like 41,000 kilometers, the circumference of the Earth. That is sorry, more than 41,000, but anyway, it's like 21,000 nautical miles. So you can, I was estimating around like over 8 days, 9 days constant flying. But of course, with my plan, I want to go to South Africa. Sorry, I mean Africa in general, but if there's enough interest, I will probably go to Central Africa and Southern Africa, and then Middle East, and then down to Southeast Asia, Australia, and then go back up, because with this Cessna I cannot cross the Pacific Ocean. I have to go back up to Japan, and then east of Russia and Alaska, and back to North America. So it'll take longer than that. It's not like a circle, right? I go up and down, up and down. And I like to have like a lot of sightseeing and stuff like that. Awesome. Just set off from EMA, East Midland, down to the Canary Island. Is this real weather? Yes, that's one of my criteria, to fly in real time and real weather. And basically like real difficulty, whatever the sim is available with. Like everything is hard mode, like true to life. That's why right now I have like early morning flights. Usually I prefer to do streaming at night, but I don't want to fly like in unknown territories to me, like at night, not being able to see anything. Plus there is a possibility of potentially could be freezing, which yesterday was crazy. For example, I had to basically fly around the clouds to avoid any visible moisture, because when you have like below freezing degree and visible moisture in the air, means fog or like clouds, then you will have freezing, and it's very dangerous. It affects the performance of the aircraft. I mean, in real life, it's you fall out of the sky for sure. In this sim, all of your windshield freezes up. I mean, if you have used this sim, probably you've seen it already. Okay, this is my turn here. And also, yeah, the freezing condition definitely affects the performance of the engine. I'm not sure how bad it is when it comes to the wing, like the amount of lift that your wing is producing. Are you gonna fall out of the sky like with ice on your wing? I'm not sure. I haven't tried it, and I don't want to try it while streaming. Maybe I will do that like offline and in a test flight. But it affects. You won't have enough lift. That's what I'm sure about. I've experienced that, like before this series of streaming. All right. What was the instruction after that? It's just a visual approach. Okay, I just fly in, I guess. pop it in developer mode and watch the airflow when severely iced. It's impressive. Oh, you can actually see that? That's awesome. I gotta try that. I mean, not during the stream, but I didn't know that you can actually turn that on and see it. Good to know. Wow, that's crazy. So what I felt, I wasn't just crazy. It actually affects the lift when you have ice. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna disengage the autopilot, and are we getting the next ADF? Yes. That's what was the other one? That's okay. That's Golf Hotel. Is runway inside? I still don't see it. Right ahead of me. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, okay.
Bravo Golf Golf Hotel traffic garage Charlie Alpha 0079 miles southwest inbound visual runway 5. Bravo Golf Golf Hotel traffic garage Charlie Alpha 007 is on final runway 5 to land.
It should be here, right? According to the charts I have, I think the airport is here. I don't see the beacon. Or here, something like that. It's like a peninsula type deal. If I have to head okay, let me see, this is 90. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's the heading, 085. Okay, less than 4 minutes to landing. How do you connect the plane position with the map above? It's basically it's an add-on that is for basically part of the Navigraph. And what was it again? KCG Navigraph Simlink. Yes, it's that Navigraph Simlink. That's what you have. That's what you need on your gaming PC, and then once you open your Navigraph on your streaming PC, that basically picks up that Simlink add-on. It broadcasts your location onto your local network. If you have both programs on the same PC, it just picks it up by itself. You don't even need that Simlink. No problem. Hey Silverper. Yeah, it looks cool. Oh, look at that weird thing again. These are like glitches that they need to fix. That's the airport. That's the runway. Do you see that? That's so bizarre when you see like raised up like lakes. Yes, you can have them on the same PC as well. Exactly. And if you have that, you don't need Simlink. I believe Simlink is only for like broadcasting your location. I use it to link moving maps to an iPad. Yes, that's right. That works as well.
Bravo Golf Golf Hotel Traffic Garage Charlie Alpha 007 3 miles southwest inbound visual runway.
I hope they fix these issues in the sim soon. It looks so bizarre. Yeah, the ILS back course also works. I mean, localizer, not ILS. I'm too high. Oops. I'm too high and too fast. Okay, I hate to do that, but I have to turn around, go around here. It's not safe. Sorry, guys. Yeah, go around. Yes, I didn't feel safe. Yeah, I was too fast. I wanted to use flaps, but I was too fast for that. I didn't want to damage the flaps. Now I can use flaps. Okay, I'm going to pay attention to the sim at this point. I think I'm... Wait a second. Flaps 20. Got distracted. My God. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to ignore the chat. I will read them right after landing. Flaps 30. There we go. I don't have enough sensitivity in my joystick, and okay, the puppy looks good, or puppy. Oh no, I'm getting too low a little bit now. Come on. Oof. Flaps up. Oh, we are here. It was a little bit harder than what I wanted. It's like it's uphill runway. Let me see, what did I get? Yeah, my vertical speed was minus 126 feet per minute. So usually I try to keep it below 100. It was a little bit harder than what I liked. But what do they say, everyone? They say any landing is good as long as you can walk away from it. So that's what I've learned. Okay. Go around. Okay, yep, you should have. I read this part. Right thing to do. Got distracted by us on long final. You were too high and too fast last time. I did a 360 on a go around. Oops, I stopped too much. The controller went nuts on me. Nice landing, congrats, thank you very much. Thank you, KCG. LOL, it's good when the plane is okay. It's perfect when both are okay. Any landing you can walk away from it is a good landing. Yes, exactly. Both plane and you. But yeah, it was like a little bit hard, but it was fine. Nobody broke a bone. To be fair, I mean, it's like a inclined. The inclination of the runway was higher than what I was expecting. So it was like, oh shit. It's very cool that they have like sloped runways in this sim. Like that's how it is in real life, of course. In real life, I only greased it once. Ooh, I was so close to the building. And we have a new follower, by the way. Thank you very much. How do you pronounce your name? Araldi Leon. I hope I said it right. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome aboard. And we are in Nuuk, Ireland. Sorry, Greenland. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We made it to Europe. I can't believe it. That is awesome. Simply Araldi. Yes, okay. Did I say it right? Araldi. Parking brake set. Off and mass avionics off. And this is it. Thank you so much. We made it here in one piece. And we will continue our flight around the world in other days. I don't think we're gonna do that tomorrow, because the next flight also is a little bit long, and I work, of course, during the day. I'll let you guys know, because of course I have to check the weather. But the coming weather is better. Like, it's gonna be a little bit cold, but then in Greenland it's gonna go above 0. It's gonna be 7 degrees, I think, on Friday. So it'll be great. No problem. Thank you for being here and keeping me company for this flight. I hope to see you all soon again. Feel free to follow me on social media if you like, for the upcoming schedules. I mean, speaking of schedule, I cannot actually have a set schedule until we reach Europe. Like, I mean, mainland Europe. Like, England and etc. Then I can actually have like short flights, like 1 hour long, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, because there are so many interesting points. And then I can dedicate specific time for the stream. Then we can have group flights if anyone is interested, and stuff like that. It was fun and entertaining. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much. Uh, it was nice seeing your flight. You inspired me to do something similar on a local basis. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Uh, Again, I hope to see you all soon. This is Arash signing off. Bye.